easy to forget how strange, bold, and beautifully offbeat 1973 really was. This was a year where yodeling rock could climb the charts, where disco rubbed shoulders with folk, and where one unforgettable track could etch a moment into music history before its creators disappeared into the mist. These aren't just songs, they're stories, snapshots of a time when music dared to be. If you're into nostalgia, rare gems, and a trip through time you didn't know you needed, you're in the right place. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's see how many of these you actually remember. Our first stop is the sly grin of Stuck in the Middle with You by Steelers Wheel. On the surface, it sounds like a carefree jam, but dig a little deeper, and you'll find frustration disguised in melody. Jerry Rafferty and Joe Egan wrote it after attending a pretentious music industry dinner. The result? A tongue-in-cheek folk rock anthem that poked fun at the whole scene. It hit number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 8 in the UK. The playful guitar riff, coupled with a vocal delivery that echoes Bob Dylan, made it a song you couldn't quite place, but couldn't forget either. And decades later, Quentin Tarantino gave it a second life in Reservoir Dogs, a satirical jab turned cult classic. Then comes a dose of pure joy, Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest.
We get it almost every night when that moon gets big and bright.
This wasn't just a song, it was a vibe. Written by Sherman Kelly, who first recorded it with his band Boffalongo. The version that caught fire was King Harvest's 1972 re-recording. Released at the tail end of '72, it burst onto the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1973, peaking at number 13. Its gentle groove, piano-led intro, and soft vocals painted a picture of carefree nights and shared laughter. It was the kind of tune that made you believe, if only for a few minutes, that the world really could be all right. When B.W. Stevenson sang My Maria, he didn't just sing about love, he soared with it.
Maria, don't you know I have come a long, long way.
Released in July of '73, the track blended country and rock in a way that felt effortless. With Stevenson's rich vocals and Larry Carlton's searing guitar work, it rode the Billboard Hot 100 up to number 9 and reigned atop the adult contemporary chart.
Just my thoughts about you bring back my peace of mind.
Maria wasn't just a woman in the song. She was an ideal, a beacon, the kind of love that pulls you back when life tries to push you away. And years later, Brooks and Dunn would revive the song for a new generation, but it's Stevenson's version that still carries that raw, original yearning. On the lighter side of storytelling came Clint Holmes with Playground in My Mind. Released in 1972, but peaking in '73, this tune was pure childhood nostalgia.
When we get married, we're gonna have a baby or two.
With its sing-song chorus and duet with a young boy, songwriter Paul Vance's son, Philip, it conjured memories of make-believe kingdoms and imaginary friends. The line, "My name is Michael,"
My name is Michael, I got a nickel, I got a nickel, shiny and new.
"I've got a nickel" stuck in your head whether you wanted it to or not. It reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and topped charts in Canada. It was a sweet, sugary time capsule, and sometimes that's all you need. Few songs dared to reinterpret a classical masterpiece, but Deodato's Also Sprach Zarathustra 2001 did exactly that and turned it into a jazz-funk explosion. Eumir Deodato, a Brazilian keyboardist and arranger, took the famous Strauss piece known from 2001: A Space Odyssey and infused it with electric piano, funky bass, and breakneck drumming. The single version raced up the Billboard Hot 100 to number 2 and even earned Deodato a Grammy. Classical purists might have gasped, but the rest of us just turned it up and let it groove. Now, take a step onto the wild side. Literally, Lou Reed's Walk on the Wild Side wasn't just a song. It was a movement, Produced by David Bowie and Mick Ronson, this track gave voice to the outcasts, the rebels, the beautiful misfits of Andy Warhol's factory scene.
Shaved her legs and then he was a she. She says, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. Said, hey honey.
With its hushed vocals, iconic bass line, and taboo-breaking lyrics, it slid into the Billboard Top 20 and became a cultural lightning bolt. The song didn't just suggest change, it embodied it.
Hey babe, take a walk on the wild side. Said, hey babe, take a walk on the wild side.
It welcomed you into a different world and dared you to stay. Then came a song that felt like a memory you couldn't quite name. Wildflower. In 1973, it reached number 9 on the Billboard charts and then disappeared, just like the band behind it. But Wildflower stayed.
And when her youthful world was about to fall in,
It became the kind of song that played on late-night radio or during those moments when everything felt a little too much. You didn't just hear it, you felt it. And just when the charts seemed to have settled into a groove, along came Oh Babe, What Would You Say by Hurricane Smith. It felt like crackling saxophones, a lilting piano line, and a voice that sounded like it belonged on an old Victrola.
Sunshine on a cold and rainy day. Oh, babe, what would you say?
In the midst of a rapidly changing world, this song was a gentle nod to simpler times. Norman Hurricane Smith, who had worked behind the scenes with the Beatles, stepped into the spotlight just once and caught everyone off guard. The song soared to number 3 in the US, and for a while, it was everywhere. Romantic, nostalgic, and completely out of step with everything else in 1973, which is exactly why people remembered it. Then there was something that felt like it came from another planet. Soul Makossa by Manu Dibango. The beat was hypnotic, the groove was primal, and the voice, chanting Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Kosa, cut through the static of American radio like nothing else. Born in Cameroon and trained in jazz, Dibango didn't follow trends. He created a sound that was deeply rooted in African rhythm, layered with funk and infused with soul. Released in France in 1972 and finding its way to the US in 1973, the song climbed to number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was his only American hit, but the ripples kept spreading. Years later, you'd hear echoes of this groove in Michael Jackson and Rihanna. But back in 1973, it was just this one strange, powerful record, opening a door to something bigger, something global. We close with one of the decade's most tender ballads, The Last Song by Edward Bear. Canadian band, soothing vocals, simple piano.
Did you know I'd go to sleep and leave the lights on?
It was about a man leaving the light on for a lost love who may never return. And while that might sound overly sentimental, the way Larry Evoy sang it, soft, resigned, hopeful, it hit like truth.
It's the last song I'll ever write for you.
It reached number 3 in the US and topped charts in Canada. Sometimes the quietest songs are the ones that linger the longest. These weren't just one-hit wonders. They were the sound of an era trying to figure itself out. Joyful, confused, bold, and occasionally heartbreaking. 1973 didn't need dozens of hits from each artist. Just one. Just one that said something worth remembering. Which one struck a chord with you? Drop it in the comments. And if this trip through time felt right, hit that subscribe button. We've got more forgotten gems waiting in the wings. And trust us, you don't want to miss what's coming next.